Okay, we got a great guy on deck right now, Michael Lederman. Is it really Lederman? Is this David Lederman's brother? Let's bring him on right now. Let's see who this guy is.
That was a beautiful introduction, Ben. Thank you.
You know what? I'm a corn dog, man. I don't know. It's how it goes. So Lederman, how's it going, man? How's it going? 18 years in the business. You're in my country, our country, Ottawa. I've got a guy I work with, Jimmy Cox. Do you guys know? Do you know the Cox team out there?
I don't know them, but I'm in both Ottawa and Gatineau, so I'm double licensed in Quebec and Ontario because we live right there.
Yeah. I've got another guy right on the border too, Vince. Vince, he's there. And he's in a small town. I don't know which town it is, but he's literally thinking of doing the same thing because of that. He's getting licensed in Ontario, so that's what you might actually be nice to connect with him because you probably have an insight on how that works.
Could you text me his full name later on?
Yeah,
thank you, Ben.
Thank you guys for sure.
By the way, I want to just start by thanking you very much for having me on your show. You know what? This is the first time that I've actually and my apologies in advance. It's the first time that I even looked at your Facebook page. I'm so late on this stuff, and I've been following you for about the last hour or so, and I have to say I'm truly very impressed. Mm-hmm. I tend to have a skepticism towards the world of coaches, and you have pretty much. You too, right? And you've pretty much broken that skepticism. I really, now I can tell how genuine and credible you really are. I can see that. So thanks for having me on the show. I'm honored. Go on.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yeah. You know what? About a year ago, I almost quit being a real estate coach because I was always a business coach prior, and I felt like I didn't fit in, and I had this on my own insecurity. I'm like, you know what? Everyone's chasing all this stuff and they're giving all these solutions, but it's not helping anyone. But no one seems to really care. Like it's just like, you want to be like me? Here's my system. And I'm thinking Google has all these answers, and I'm like, you know what? I feel like what I had wasn't valued. I'll just go back into. So I literally started getting deals with architectural firms. I had other companies. I was just going to go do my thing and work with companies. And I realized through a bit of a process that I went, oh. I see. I said, I'm not a real estate coach. At the core, that's why it doesn't fit. I realized I help people get out of their own way, and I help people build a real business. And I just happen to have some killer real estate stuff. And I used to lead with the other one first. And with a little simple alignment, I'm not even joking, Michael, I'm getting sold out on every level right now. Just like, damn, people are coming to me nonstop because I was misaligned. It made me create a story about why is it not taking off the way I wanted to, even though my results were crazy. Like it could put up against anybody. And I was like, what I really do is I work on the person behind the business. Then we work on the business. Then every real estate strategy could work. Rather than most coaches say, here's my strategy. I'll teach you how to do FISBOs. I'll teach you how to build a team. They're all tactics, but the person behind the business that has to execute them is the problem. And so I realized, I cut everything else and I went double down on real estate because I realized I might be needed. And I went, interesting. I think, and I just got into this mission mode where I'm like, I'm gonna make an impact here because I realized 80% of the people are going to connect with that versus everything else.
Because you finally found meaning. That's why. There was probably a time in your life where you were just kind of going through an exploration period. And then you had a crisis moment, which everybody needs that in order to grow and find a certain degree of meaning. And you did it, which is fantastic. Wow.
Yeah, so I really appreciate you. I love the fact that you said that's a massive compliment for me when you say that fully skeptic and then we'll change the game. You hear my heart and you get to see who I am. It takes time to build relationships, right? And I always say my tribe finds me, and that's what my mission is, partly why I do lives. For sure, it's promo. Sure, it's leverage. But at the end of the day, I just want to meet people, and I'm looking for my tribe. I want to build a real community of people that want to build a life paid for by real estate, and just a real life. Like I got 5 kids. I got a wife. Like I want to be doing all kinds of cool stuff. And why did we all start as a real estate? And like I was different, but why did most people become real estate agents? Because the freedom they're looking for. The freedom, and we don't build around that.
For me, it was. I have to be honest about this stuff. By the way, just for your audience.
So let's just establish we're going to shoot straight. Let's do this. We're shooting straight today, Michael. Yeah. Hardcore straight. Good. Let's just start. Let's just go with it. We're here just to shoot straight.
Disclaimer, audience, disclaimer. Everything I say does not necessarily make me right. Okay?
Let's establish that on both sides.
It's a point of view.
I love it.
Okay. Now I just lost my train of thought. You ended up on.
People want to look for freedom when they become an agent. You've got a different perspective on that.
I agree with the freedom part. Okay, and I think for the newer agents, they have to understand that and drill down to even more concrete, detailed level when we talk about the concept of freedom. I think a lot of people tend to kind of use it loosely and ambiguously, and I think for me, what freedom meant for me was having a schedule that I could set for myself.
Yeah,
setting my own schedule. That would be an example, a tangible example that I could imagine or envision. And that was one of the reasons I got into real estate, by the way. It was setting my own schedule, unlimited potential profits. Oh, yes. And, ironically, the number one reason I got into real estate before the unlimited profits and before the scheduling my own time, it was I needed desperately a sense of social contact. Prior to real estate, I was living in Europe, and I was a chart technical trader. So it's chart technicals that I used to do on charts, and I loved it, and I was quite good at it. But I hated being isolated that way. It was horrible. And I discovered about my own personality was I happen to be somebody that needs that extroverted kind of connection with other people.
Yeah.
So that's in the short version of my answer to that.
And it's funny because in some level people are similar, right? I think you found a place that maybe fits you better than what you were doing. I know I've done I'm trained in I'm a practitioner in Myers-Briggs, and I understand personality inside and out, and I teach and all that. So when you have an introvert gains energy from being by themselves, and an extrovert gains energy from talking. And so that's why I could go 4 hours, 5 hours, no problem. I'm gaining energy talking. I get the right guy. But if I get a real quiet one on the phone, it's like, or on the show, I'm like, it's heavier lifting. But we go back and forth, and energy is created from talking. And then it's really interesting because introverts think while they're not talking, and extroverts talk while they think. And so it's like just like so it's funny because you discovered that. I don't know if you were trained in it or what, but you actually made a very, very, it's exactly what psychology is that you decided it's draining you and you need somewhere where it feeds your energy. And that's why talking and being outward like that is actually an energy lift. So like when I go home, if I crushed a 12-hour day and I'm done and I'm just done and I need a little energy, I'll call a friend on the way home.
Yes.
And I'm fired up.
Yes. I can relate.
It's just a quick gas meter. But if an introvert's burnt out all day, they have to go to their room for 2 hours by themselves and just sit. That's how they gain energy.
So I think I'm a schizophrenic on that. I think I'm like a dual personality because I have that. Say again.
How old are you?
I'm 48 now.
48. Okay. So you got both sides.
Yeah, I got this weird thing about my personality where I can't wait to just shut off the telephone, watch a movie, be as lazy and leisurely as possible. I've got that kind of introverted part where my brain, actually, I have a lot of respect for the mind. The mind has to be given it a moment without conscious thinking all the time.
I'm with you.
It has to give it.
I have to. I'm the same way. I'll go crush a series. If I got
there, you go.
Nothing on
you shut off. That's it.
Like there's a place of like I think that might be more complicated than personality. It's because it's almost like I just got to unplug. There's a lot of mission going on. There's a lot of things. If you're a business owner and you're doing well and it's stimulating, but the stimulating's you can't just like in a video game hit that nitro button constantly, right? I don't care personality wise, you run out. Or remember back in the day, Street Fighter? You ever play Street Fighter?
Oh, yeah, sure. I remember that.
You're doing this, right? Or even any boxing game, there's stamina there. And if you just keep eventually your punches don't do anything. So I think it's a little bit, I picture that when I'm out, I'm like, I gotta stop. So I think it's sometimes I'm with you, man. I get lost into a show. I go to movies. That's one of my own techniques because this brain is a beautiful machine, and I just got to unplug it.
And by the way, Ben, that does go back to your whole theme on burnout, which you touched upon with all of your other guests. It's all related back to that. It's if you don't know when to take that 1 hour walk, if you don't know when to just say, screw it, I'm going to ignore the calls. Yeah, you feel anxiety. You'll get over the anxiety. You just have to practice it enough and just take those breaks. Yeah. And the 2 month and the 1 month thing that you said about going away for 1 month, you're absolutely right on. That's tough for a lot of people to do.
Yes.
I can do it only because I've reached a certain level in my business, I think now. But I would even say, look, at worst case scenario, minimum, take 2 weeks. Like truly take the 2 weeks and find a replacement. Do something about that, because otherwise you're done.
Well, here's the thing. Even if it's not 2 weeks or a month, figure out what your end goal is, which would be traveling more, which would be whatever, volunteering with troubled youth. Like we all have something. Like, for example, I would like to speak in schools someday, but as soon as I say someday, it's never going to happen. So I need to find, how do I do it at 1% now? See, this is how do you build a life? You force things to get what you want. Like if me and you, let's say a guy calls, you have no schedule, but a guy calls and goes, hey, I got an entire city block I need you to sell. Would you want to list it? You'll get it done. You literally would get it done. Someone says, I got 10 properties. Can you list it tomorrow? You'll get it done. Like, so what I'm saying is we need to let our business bend around our life versus our life bend around our business. And that only happens with moving forward toward the life today. Like when I get retired, dude, I went so hard. I made so much money because I had this weird thought, and it's a very amateur hour thought back in the day. It's like, I'm going to eventually be so wealthy. And when that happens, I'm going to live life. And it's almost stereotypical now. And I literally almost got a divorce. My kids asked for a new dad at one point. And I'm like, what the heck am I doing? I changed everything. And that's why I do what I do. Some of those things are traumatic. And I look back and I'm like, F that. I have what I've already got. I've got it. I've already got it. And so why am I acting this way? And so I'm like, time to live now, like now. And so 1% forward, whether it's 2 weeks or a month or whatever, if that's what you want, you have to figure out, like, someday I want to what? Now, how do I do it at 1% tomorrow? That has to be part, and then watch it happen. It's a seed, but we never move forward. It's always delayed. That's a psychology question more than a business question. Like, why am I not giving the life that I want?
Damn, you're right on, man. You're right on. You hit it.
I get a little passionate about this just because I think there's been pain in my life.
Because you suffered it. You had to suffer it, and it's look, I'm not a parent. Okay, I don't know. It's like I never got married. I never had kids. But I love my relationships very much. But you went through very serious trauma, which of course, the irony of life is, it would have been worse if you didn't go through it. Imagine. Dude, imagine.
Be on this call, and I like this. So it's really cool. I sure love this. I think the way I attract people to being on this show is I find good guys, because I'm very clear. Like my when you fill out your form to maybe get on the show, it's like way different questions on like, how many deals? What did you do? Top strategy. I'm so like, I did. And so anyone that actually gets through that filter, because you know why? Because I know who my tribe is. And I'm looking for those tribe members. And that's the same mentality we can have in business.
I got to add something on that. I have to add something on that. I'm sorry to interrupt.
I had a feeling you had something.
What you just mentioned there is applicable to how do I word this correctly? It's as applicable to agents that are fearing to say no to clients or fearing to say no to the business. Yeah. I learned the hard way. When I first started, I was taught, oh God, there was no such thing as training back. It was just horrible. But like, I didn't get any training. I got nothing. I had to learn on my own. You know how they say sink or drown, like they say swim or drown. Oh, I drowned many times, but you just made me think about that. It's having the courage of saying to yourself, what kind of clients do I want to work with? Like, it's not meant to take things for granted, but it's sometimes a greater nightmare to take on a client that doesn't fit you, because the hell that comes from that, even if you're paid your commission at the end, the feeling of receiving that commission, it feels terrible. It feels like it's almost like the money is tainted. It's like, well, yeah, I made that $5,000 or that 10,000, but it's like tainted money. It's like, and it's a one-time payment. It's not continuous. It's a one-time payment.
And even like you said that, if I can just add the fact that we look at it as a payment, yes. But what we want is not the commission. We want the 7-8 deals over the next 20 years that guy's going to give. So the thing is, if we can look at it going, okay, sure, I can get paid. And just for the fact, if I need money, I'm taking the shit deal, just for the record. I would probably, if I needed to feed my family, I'll do what I have to do. I want to make sure new agents understand that you don't get the privilege. If you got a deal, go get it done. Like, you got to pay your bills. So I'm kind of two sides, but I don't work with anybody now. That I like the start is like, go get your paycheck, then you get to choose. Like at the end of the day, if you can get paid, I think that's one thing we got to really focus on, because some people might hear this and be like, I'm not working with you. I'm like, you need a paycheck, your family needs food. That's why I bring that up. But the thing is, the thing is, I lost my train of thought again too. Got excited about that, but what happens, man. That's what happens. Perfection is something I don't have anywhere near perfection. But I think it's good. I think this conversation is really great. I think it's nice that I get to meet you, Michael. I think it's cool that
thank you.
Really cool.
Likewise.
Good people. You got a good heart, and you got a good insight. I think that's pretty cool. You've done some work on yourself, I can tell.
Yeah, voluntarily and involuntarily. Sometimes life does it for you, and that's it. I was looking at some of your questions. Great questions, by the way. With your permission, can I bring up some of the top questions?
I'm wide open, man. I'm wide open. Let's go.
Some of them have to be said. They have to be articulated publicly. One of your questions, it's a tough one too. I'll start with the easiest one. Okay. Advice to agents. You said, what would be advice to agents? And if I could turn back time and go back to the past, this is what I would have done, knowing what I know now. Okay. Number one, believe it or not, time management. Time management. If you need to, take out that dumb, stupid calendar that's like you get at home, at Staples, the big one, and block, block out. Like, you have to put in time management as great importance on solicitation or whatever you want to call it for business as you do for exercise or eating your breakfast and your lunch and taking your shower.
So let's
and
do
making
this.
your bed. Okay.
Here's the thing, just a little clarification for people listening. We have these words that we all assume we know what time management is, and we move past it so quickly. I think, let me ask you, is what you're saying prioritize?
Yes, prioritizing. You took the word out of my mouth. Exactly.
And so because the management feels like I'll never get, you can't manage time. It's a thing that just goes. So it's like the priorities can be put onto the calendar. The priorities get put onto the calendar, and time blocking. I get it. Those are words we get. Once the word is branded, we all do this assumption. I do a talk, and I'll be on stage, and I'll put the word sex on stage. Okay, just this big giant word sex. I bring 5 people up on stage, and I say, okay. And so before that, I get everyone in the room to write down the five things that they think of with the word sex, which we should all be on the same page as what sex is. And then what happens is, you wouldn't believe what happens. The definitions that come from that word is everything from love to pain to, like, it's wild. And that's what I'm really serious about, is when I hear words that we all assume that we know what it is, all I do is try to dissect it a little bit, go, what are we really talking about? Because I'm outwardly focused on impacting people, so it matters that they understand. And so that's where it comes from. I'm like, okay, as soon as I see that, I'm like, okay, hold on, Michael. Are we talking about time management? Many people think, oh, I got that. No. We break it down to, like, your priorities have to be slammed onto a big calendar. It's almost like now that's a little bit more clear on what we're actually trying to help people with. Does that make sense?
Oh, well stated. It's great that you do that. Yeah, it is, Ben. Thank you. Okay, number 2, believe it or not, second top of the list, budget. Nobody talks about financing. What the hell's wrong with people that they don't talk? it doesn't matter how much money you make, you're going to go broke. You're going to be in debt. It's like, what are you working for? You might as well go down to the beach of, I don't know, Cambodia. Go to Cambodia. There's no beach, but go to Cambodia and kick back and live off of $10 a day. Like, what are you doing? And so budgeting.
Life, yeah. So hold on, let's take this, because I actually had this as one of my things I wanted to talk about.
Stop buying that Porsche. Stop buying that Mercedes. Stop. Like, you don't need it. You don't unless your target market is a niche market of multi-millionaires. Or and maybe.
Huh? Or it doesn't even matter. I could drive a minivan and land all those guys too. So like at the end of the day, like I think buy the car you love. If you love a Porsche, great. But if you can't afford it, stupid. So let's just break this down, because there's an industry problem here massively. Okay. Again, you probably heard me say it, is we're celebrating gross revenue. We're not celebrating net profit. And so it's actually something I've got I'm pissed off about, and I bring it up a lot, because you got these brokers, which I love a lot of them. I got lots of friends that are brokers, but the brokers, meaning the entire industry, have set a standard that they're going to get their agents to celebrate a gross revenue award. But they don't celebrate that award. The hypocrisy is there. They celebrate net profit because they couldn't run a brokerage without figuring out how much money they have, the budgets, their taxes. They run real businesses, but then they get the entire industry to celebrate something that is not even real in business. So there's this weird disconnect, and that's why finance is not a topic. It doesn't matter. Old school boiler room sales is, let's get them all to buy Ferraris so they're all in debt so they sell more. That's old school salesmanship. I know my dad was a 1970s vacuum salesman. I learned from the very beginning how to sell, and I was a coach in a large sales organization, and before I got there, it was get them to buy a hot car was actually a tactic, because then they've got this car and they got to pay for it. And so I feel like the industry needs to adjust, going, imagine one award, net profit. Imagine you had to submit your financials. You would help every agent in the entire world to learn how to manage their money by just celebrating a different award. Like, imagine I have to give you my financials. What, the P&L balanced? Like, I don't know. Like, how much money do you make? I made $1 million. No, you didn't. It cost you $500,000. You made $500,000. It's just a basic 101 business. And I think so I think you're nailing it. It's like budgeting, finances, it's not talked about. Where is it?
And you've expounded on it very well. I think people need to hear this. They need to hear it.
Risking making enemies, but I got to speak my truth. I'm speaking against the industry in some level, but I'm like, guys, there's people hurting out there. They think they're making $100,000 and they're so celebrating. You're celebrating $100,000 when they made 40.
That's it.
And they think the amateur, because he doesn't know business, I made 100. No, you didn't.
Mm-hmm.
Your license and brokerage fees are 20.
It's a disservice. It's a disservice to their agents. They're doing whoever those brokers are doing a disservice to their agents.
I feel like,
and those brokers are making passive income. Don't forget that, everybody. They're making passive income. You're making active income. Unless you have a system and a process, you are making active income, and you cannot sustain that into old age.
And by the way, brokers actually aren't making that much passive income. That's a hard business, man. It's a hard business.
I know.
It says it's,
but it's still,
just for me to flip it and be the devil's advocate, because all the brokers out there, I would never be a broker, because it's very difficult to really make money because the amount of work that has to go into it. But I truly believe you can revamp it and actually help the agents on a bigger level. And that would actually be the hack to growing the brokerage versus just bringing in useless training. But anyways, that's a whole other topic.
And I didn't mean to give the impression that it was easy. So my apologies to everybody.
I just want to be sure that the brokers that are watching understand that we get it.
But it is still more passive income based than an individual agent who is doing yeah, that's right. And I know you're right. I mean, even my broker of record has said to me, this is not making that much money, Michael. And I believe her, right?
It's true. Because the more agents you have, the more I admit, it's a very hard business to scale.
Yes.
Because I have 1,000 agents. It's not like I can scale that. I have to hire. I need office space. It's a very limiting way to grow. You're better off having 100 agents and crushing the best high producing 100 agents. Maybe do some splits. Anyways, it's a tough business. I would never be a broker for that reason.
A lot of people tell me that they wouldn't want to be a broker.
People get their brokerage license for some reason, and they're like, "Yeah, I'm a broker now," and it's just like a biggest waste of time, and they think it's going to help them in their reputation and things like that. But anyways, your next question there that we had.
We've already talked about it. Take time off is the other advice to them. We covered that.
Yeah.
The next one is somewhat related to one of your questions about self-worth and doubt. I think it was one of your questions, confidence, self-worth. Well, I'm really giving you a short version here, okay? But be courageous. Accept your self-doubt. I'm contrarian though in that sense. I love my self-doubt and my insecurity. It keeps me sharp. It does. It keeps me sharp. It keeps me on my toes. I rarely overestimate my experience. It keeps me managing risk and reward with my clients in negotiations. So I say, don't look at these natural aspects of human nature as being black and white, bad versus good. Take the doubt and use it. Use it to be courageous. Use it to say, you know what? It's not the end of the world. The world didn't crash. So I lost that negotiation. I learned from it. Now, next, get on with it. Next. You lost that listening to that agent. Find out why. Get the answer. Next. Keep going to the next one, because you might just find somebody. You might actually be under the illusion that there's this mysterious force against you, that someone some seller, let's say, or buyer rejected you, the fear of rejection, rejected you because of something personal about you. You know that 9 out of 10 times it's not about you at all. And it's just bad timing. They happen to get along naturally. It's like dating. They happen to get along naturally with the other person, and they had nothing against you, but they're not going to list their house with you. Go next. You're going to find somebody who will. You're going to find somebody who's going to, mesh with you so nicely. It's going to be awesome. And your whole experience from A to Z is going to be a lot smoother.
I'm with them 100%.
That's it. Confidence will come is what I'm trying to say. It'll come. You have to fall and get up again. It'll come. And as Ben said, when you're not working, call a friend up. And don't put everything on your spouse's shoulders, for God's sakes, people. Call other friends. Distribute that energy of frustration with friends who can handle it from time to time.
Can I speak to that a little?
Yeah, of course.
I feel like I've met many people that they go home and then they talk to their wives. And what happens, or spouses or partners or whatever, roommates. But I love what you said. I think there's a place to protect the closest relationships, because what happens is you become it's a dumping. It's not even that you're looking for advice. You're just looking to share. Then find a few people that you can share with, maybe some fellow agents or something. I want to say there's a lot of people that actually hurt their relationships at home because it's very heavy conversations. And it's like you said, understand when you're doing those conversations, that person needs to carry that for you. It's not like it's easy on them. So it's a really interesting point that you make. And I just want to make sure we stop there. Another thing that you said that I'd like to just make a point on is that you get back up. Here's the thing. I work with people all the time. I help people constantly on the human side of things. There's one guy that took my 12-week real estate boot camp. He's a newer agent out of Ontario. He's in Barrie. And he had a really hard few weeks, like dark, like almost quitting. And I said, dude, just so you know, the real skill is to get up. I said, the real skill that you need to develop is the muscle is not success. The muscle is that when you fall, you can pick yourself up. So I said, right now you're in the gym. I said, the faster you can pick yourself up. I said, this is the skill set that you need to work on. He just sent me a message. He goes, Ben, I want to say thank you. Like literally 2 days ago. He goes, man, remember you told me that? He goes, I had a real dark moment again, but I got myself picked right back up. It was so quick. And it was like, we don't actually take that as an actual muscle. This is where I win. You can take me down for a second, but I get back up fast. I can come back. I'm intelligent emotionally. I can figure it out. I know that. I just know that. And maybe it's perspective or experience or whatever, but I think we need to just say, hey, how good's your skill set with getting knocked down and picking back up? Why don't we work on that skill set? I think that could be a better way to serve agents than any other skill set, because when you get knocked down, you don't take 2 weeks, you take a 3-day, then you take a 1 day, then you take 5 minutes, you're back in the game. You're in the race. You don't get taken out of the race very long. So anyways, it's one of those things, you said it. It's about getting back up. I just want to make some shine a little bit of light on that. That's a massive, massive skill set. It takes practice.
Let's extend on what you just said, because it happened to me, and I just felt like saying, I just want to go away for a while and just, forget it. And I remember one of my friends said to me, just wait, Michael. Just take the couple of hours off your day. He says, I'm concerned, Michael, that if you do it under this context, it's going to get prolonged. You're not going to get back onto the saddle. Now, there's a big difference between that and saying, I'm going to plan a vacation in December, and no matter what happens, I'm gone for December, blah, blah, blah. That's a conscientious decision. It's part of your.
You're running away in a way. You're fight or flight in a way. Yeah,
I know. I like doing that sometimes. Okay,
you're human.
Here we go.
That's too.
Oh yeah, that's a huge one today, post-COVID. Look, it should have happened before COVID. Huge advice to people, and it goes back to Melanie, who was speaking to you just previously, prior to me. So this goes out to people like her. You have to get online reviews from your clients. You have to get online reviews from your clients. This is no longer, it's all online now. The majority of the population of the world is online. Where do they live? You don't live in your house. You live online. Start getting that through your head. It really is that way. Like you forget about the newspapers, forget about the magazines. It's everything. It's a revolution. People don't even realize we are in a complete change. You have to get online. And if you don't have the money, then get it free. Get your clients to write a review online. Google review, Facebook review. Rate My Agent is the biggest one. Rate My Agent has done wonders for me. I can't even tell you. I can't even get into it with you.
Michael, what I did. So what I have is I actually got a system that I actually teach in my course, and it's how do you set that up, and your assistant does it. So what you do is the timing wise though is really important. It's once the deal is done, we've red carpeted them. So we bring out a red carpet on every single closing. We take pictures, we gifts and champagne. We make this a big deal every time someone gets a house. By the way, that's a really good strategy. And then what we do is at that point, they're the most in love with you because we've done a really good job from the start all the way to the end. Then it'd say, now that you're sold, just say, this is how we get this. And that's at that point, we send them an email, say, this is how we'd like you to review us. And they always do. But that's systemized with an assistant, because as a single agent, like even as a single agent, here's the thing. Let's just take this moment. Let's just say the number one thing Michael is saying is one of the highest things that he values is putting in an agent review system of some sort. Like you need to get reviews. Now, here's the issue. Okay. Now let's break down the industry again. Oh, that's a great idea, Michael. I loved that. Was so good. That show, I saw Ben and Michael talking. I'm doing it. It never gets done. Okay. So now I get obsessed going, like, we get ideas, or is this the biggest waste of time? But let's take it to the step going, I'm going to show you how to execute on this. Okay. So what you're going to do is you're going to find someone that's desperate for some money, which is going to be about $15. Okay. You're going to add it to your budget, which is $15, and their job is to just send one email after every sale to get a review. That's it. This is how freaking easy this business is. We look at hiring an assistant. F that. Look at the project that needs to be done, price out the time, and check it out by the hour. We can have 10 assistants, Michael, doing 10 different things, but we're actually helping society desperately right now that have no money, a single mom or someone that makes another $50 every single month to run your feedback collection system. Like I'm just saying, like the review system. So I want people to understand the execution is not how do I get it done? Because I promise you, spring hits, you're gonna fail doing all those things that are all long game thinking. You're only going to chase the leads. So we already predict that. So hire someone to get a review for you, but don't hire a company, a social media company. Hire a mom, hire a sister, hire a young kid that's great on the phone and say, hi, this is me. Do a thing. Say, would you mind doing a review? Send them an email. Make sure they do it. It would take nothing. And every review, pay for $15 for that person.
And you know what? Talking about systems, this is why the reason I came on to speak with you is my challenge I need a bloody system. I'm going crazy. I'm doing everything myself and I know it's all wrong. I need the processes. I need the systems. Tech makes up a good 80 to 90% of that. The rest maybe is human. I want to minimize the you know how they say location, location, location? Administration, administration, administration. It's horrible. And I got to cut that out. I've done it partially, but Jesus, man, that's
the value of my team Oosterveld right now. Like we're one of the higher end teams in the area and do a lot of performance and stuff. 5 agents, they stay on my team because I got wicked at man. I built systems. I made one sale this year, and then the year before I made like 2. And it was 130 houses. And so I built a business to serve my life. And so what I'm saying is I obsessed about. I'm not a systems guy, which is really funny. I'm a hack. What do you think I just told you? Hire someone, single mom, give them $15 and get it. I'm a hack. I'm not that engineered. I'm not a flowchart guy, but I built systems that are so freaking easy to run. They might not be the most efficient, but my shit gets done. And a lot of people try to be the most efficient. And what happens is it never gets done. Like you could have the craziest CRM with 50,000 really cool things and all these systems and flows. If they're not getting done, my Google Forms is winning. So I think that's it. This is what I do. I built an entire business running on its own. But the thing is, the value is that these guys on my team get to plug into this machine. And that's why they just stay. They work with me for a long time, and because it's about building a life they love from the start here. And I want them. They get free holidays. We take care of their business because the systems are running. Birthday systems. Every single person that's ever been on in our business gets fresh cooked cookies on their doorstep on their birthday for the rest of their life. They always get that goes from the red carpet. From the red carpet, we take a picture. From that picture, it is obviously not our logos or any bullshit like that. It's a picture. 3 months later, when the conversation just starts like, oh, you bought a new house. Oh, Johnny's got hockey. Oh, and all of a sudden the new house conversation goes away. That's when we hit them with the red carpet picture, and that goes on their fridge with our phone number on the back. I take the back of the magnet. I let them have the front of the magnet. Now we've got the conversation happening at home every time they walk in and go, what's that? Then what we do is we do giveaways for prospects. We do 0 at Christmas for clients. 0. You know why? It's white noise. You know how many freaking cards I get? No one. It's because when it's obligated, like if I felt obligated to give you a gift and then I give you a gift, it just doesn't feel right. But if it was out of the blue, so what we do is we don't actually do that for our clients. We give our prospects, we bought Christmas mats, but we tracked addresses. We tracked the prospect list. That list is important. We dropped off, I don't know, it was close to probably 500 Christmas mats. I negotiated with JISC, a company. I got mats for $7. Beautiful. They look like $30 mats. And our whole team is out there hitting prospects with gifts. And they're like, if they say, oh, what is this? I'm like, oh, I had an extra one. We're giving them to our clients. The last thing you want to do is, and then they're like, oh no. So these are all systems that I'm obsessed with the back end long game of keeping my clients for 20 years. No lead gen needed if we build that system properly. So I do lead gen, but it's a secondary thing in our business. But these are those systems that really work good. And my assistant takes care of all this. We do an automatic 24 hours within every single showing that we do. Within 24 hours, there's a phone call from the team that goes to the agent. We ask a certain question that says, hey, hypothetically, if this was the property that you wanted, what would have had to change? So we can dissect for the seller exactly what's holding the sale. We put it in a written report that goes out by the assistant. So guess what? Now, branding wise, we have a feedback manager, separates us from our competition. So easy to undermine the last guy because I'm like, oh, you probably got guys telling you doing feedback all the time, right? And they're saying, yeah, all of them are saying that. That's interesting. Let's go do 10 showings and let's see how many feedbacks we get. I'll tell you right now, it's not true. Because it's not. Everyone's doing feedback. So we find these areas to win. And we say, look, 24 hours, and they don't understand feedback. Feedback is find the problem, solve the problem, make the sale. So we actually take the system and then master selling it and differentiating ourselves against the competition that's not even thinking. Like, for example, voicemail. It's another system. Watch this. Our voicemail says this. Hey, it's Ben. If you want to leave a message, we will interrupt our meeting to take this call. It gets converted into a text. And if it's an emergency, we'll jump on it. Okay. Good system for the whole team, but it also tells who we are. And now when I'm pricing a property, I don't anymore. We would say, hey, just so you know, I just want to say I'm not one of those guys that just ignore my phone. guess what? We just undermined everyone that says, I got my attention on you. I'm not going to answer my phone. I'm like, why wouldn't you answer your phone? I'm here to sell houses. I said, but we've got a system in place so we don't miss leads. And then we undermine the whole thing by saying, you know, all those guys with all the big billboards and all those things out there? I'd say, yeah, that's great. But do they answer their phone? Do they actually answer their text? And do they do it within 15 minutes? I said, all this marketing does nothing if they don't know how to answer their phone. I said, let's go call 20 real estate agents right now and see which ones answer their phone. That's why we have a team during the day. We've got someone that always answers the phone. Everyone in our world knows that 15 minutes, we speed and we sell response time, weird things. But those are all systems built, but we're also really good at selling them because we found the holes where other guys don't sell. And it's real truth. It's real truth. You can buy every billboard and every mail out, but if the guy doesn't answer his phone, what good is it for you? Oh, by the way, you're in the newspaper. Great. They're getting listings. They're not, no one sells on it. Like it's so easy, but we always contrast, right? But systems.
That's good to know. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah. And thanks again. I'm so sorry. I've got a client that I gotta go.
We're a little over, Michael, anyway, so we can.
And thank you so much for everything, Ben. I really appreciate your time. Thank you.
I really like that I met you. I love your energy, Michael. I really do.
Likewise.
You can tell you're winning. It's the magic. It's something going on. You meet the guy and you're like, I like this guy. It's
it's mutual. We'll talk. Yeah.
Awesome, man.
Are you continuing? Are there, how many more are you doing?
Yeah, man. I'm shutting her down after
the
this.
last one.
Yeah,
okay. I didn't know.
Finish with you, man. Finish with you. So.
All right.
Awesome, man. Well, why don't you do this? Any last words? Anything you want to say? And then what we'll do is we'll call it a show. Wrap it up.
What would be the last thing to say? I don't know actually.
Okay, I'll ask you a goofball question.
Yeah. What?
If you were to make a scratch and sniff sticker, what would it be smelling like, and what would the picture be?
It would smell like. I like cinnamon. I don't know, but a lot of people don't. But I like cinnamon. I think it would smell like cinnamon, something like that. And what would it be on there?
What's the picture?
Well, I'm biased, right? I mean, I can't help it. I would have my logo on there. I'm biased. It's my logo, right? I would have my logo on there for sure.
I've asked that question probably 100 times. No one said their logo. I've had some weird ones.
Why? What do they say usually?
Cow? I'm like, really?
Oh,
and then
weird
stuff. Other people, I don't know. It's all, but it's great. I think
I'd have my logo. I'm not going to show you my logo because it's not for promoting me at all here. This is not the purpose. But I would have my logo on there.
It's a great idea. It's like, here, what is it? Scratch and sniff. So it's funny. You could actually use psychology by having a scratch and sniff sticker that smells like cinnamon with your logo. It would literally connect the brain.
You know what, Ben? You just gave me a great idea. You know that I wasn't gonna share this little thing, but you know what? I've always believed share ideas because it doesn't matter. Many people won't use it. It doesn't matter. There's no secret. It's an illusion. One of the things I do, I send out as a gift to my buyers.
Okay.
Especially the first-time home buyers. I buy a puzzle. I'm already using the photo of the house on the puzzle. Now you gave me an idea. Put the sniff and the sticker right on the puzzle box.
Yeah, like I think you could use this. If you could, I don't even know if you've solved that problem. Let me know, because I was thinking of asking that question to every guest on my other podcasts I do, and actually sending one, get it made every time and say, thanks for being on the show, and actually have it as like, if I created that for you and sent it, I just haven't figured out how to execute it yet.
With a scent and no, but
that's what you wanted. But I don't know how that
problem though. Solve
which problem? No, everyone gets a custom scratch and sniff sticker.
Oh, you can't make it custom. It'd have to be your logo or something. Yeah.
You can do one. That's what I mean. I thought, imagine.
Yeah.
So I'm always like, okay, man, well, let's wrap it up. I know you got to go.
Thank you.
Bye for now. I'm sure we'll know each other for a while. Okay, beautiful.
For sure. Thank you so much. Bye, Ben.
Thanks so much.
Get out of here.